Welcome back. You're now watching the lifestyle segment on the Weekend Show brought to you by Holocrat Popcorn. Hello, Didi.
Hi, Andy. Good morning.
How was your week? What was the highlight of your week?
All the work I had to do. That was actually my highlight this week. Yeah.
They say the reward for hard work is more
More
work.
work.
So I hope more work comes to you and so much more.
I hope so too. Because with more work comes more money.
Exactly. Did you know that about 14.4% of young Nigerians between the ages of 15 to 65 have some form of drug abuse issue, which is about 14.3 million people amongst the ages of 15 to 65 in Nigeria. So it is a problem from tobacco to what we call weed or marijuana, even excessive and even antibiotics abuse, even people who take cough syrups as some way to get high or the other. We do have a drug problem which must be fixed. I remember just about a year or two ago where the BBC African Eye had a documentary about drug abuse in some parts of Nigeria. It is a big problem and we must find out why and how to fix this issue before it gets worse. And joining us today we have.
We have Angela Brown, who is a licensed nurse and life coach. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, thank you.
How much of a problem is drug abuse?
Where do I start? Drug abuse is really a pandemic right now in Nigeria. And it's really sad because nobody's paying attention. When we mean nobody's paying attention, the government, people themselves are not paying attention. Because drug abuse right now is being looked as a way of life, especially with the young people. And a lot of them have mental health issues, which is, part of it is from childhood, part of it is societal, part of it is just genetic. And they look at drugs as as an escape, as a way to help, as a way to curb the mental health issue, as a way to just get away from it all. And also with social media, which is a really, really big issue. And a lot of the artists, when I mean the music moguls, the artists, portraying drugs as something that is just a normal thing, way of life. These young people are just emulating this artists and, and also with other social media things they see in other countries. And, is a way to be hip, is a way to be okay, is a way to just do it. It's like a trend. A lot of them are focusing on that trend with no guidance. And so you have that these drug issues just keep multiplying. They live in a society, let's just take Nigeria for instance, they live in a society whereby you're like in a hopeless state most of the time, a feeling of hopelessness. And then you have, a child that just graduated from school, no job, no future. What do you think they will do? Their mental health is affected. The only thing they have to turn to is social media. And so they get on social media, and whatever is trending is what they do. And they look at drugs as a means of escape, as a means of trending, as a means of being okay. And they just, they just start doing it. And nobody thinks about it. And there's no guidance. And so what do these kids do? They end up being drug addicts. And if Nigeria doesn't address this problem, very soon, we're not going to have any leaders. We're just going to have a lot of weed heads or coke heads or people that are crazy walking around the street. So it's really sad. But it is a pandemic in Nigeria, serious pandemic. It's almost like COVID. People are not paying attention. We need to wake up and pay attention.
So, what are the most commonly abused drugs in Nigeria today?
It used to be weed, but now it's, weed, cocaine, methamphetamine, antibiotics, opioids, even NSAIDs. NSAIDs are just, over the counter medication like Panadol, ibuprofen, They abuse that, just anything. It's like once you start, anything to get away. And the biggest problem is that a lot of these kids don't know that the weed they buy in Nigeria is not the pure weed, like they say. So it's weed mixed with rat poison, chemical agents, addictive chemical agents. So they're buying things like SK, Arizona, Loud, Solution, Black Mamba, even the pit toilet, they sniff that too. Colorado First and Second, Black China, Blue Chips, White Girl, Vanilla Babe. I mean, they got all kind of street names. And they keep doing this stuff and they just don't know the repercussions. There's codeine, there's tramadol. That's very common among, youths, among women, especially women in the North. And it's really sad. And I just urge the government, I urge parents, I urge everybody, be aware of what your kids are doing because it's so bad. I mean, it's like I've seen 7-year-old kids on drugs. Yes, I saw a 7-year-old, it broke my heart, in Mararaba. He was smoking Arizona. And I said, what are you doing? He said, Auntie, free me, Jerry. I was so hurt. I'm like, do you know what you're doing? He's like, just get away from me. You don't know me. You don't know my story. And you need to just leave me alone.
It's quite unfortunate how this has been a pandemic, like you've said. And I know the Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency under Buba Marwa has tried so much, but it's still a huge issue. And even when we go beyond coke, weed, and the likes, you spoke about NSAIDs, which is especially over the counters.
Yeah.
I remember being out of the country years ago, and you couldn't really get ibuprofen over the counter unless you had a doctor's prescription. But here you could literally walk into any pharmacy or chemist and get what you want. Yeah. And it starts from self-medication, then in some cases goes to addiction. What do you have to say about self-medication which leads to abuse?
So it all boils down to that societal issue. The people in the society don't have faith in the medical system, rightfully so. And so they believe that if you go to the doctor, either they don't have money or you go to the doctor, they don't show interest. The only thing they treat you for is malaria and hand you 6 or 7 little white packets, one a day. You don't know what you're taking. You don't know what's going on with you. So a lot of them just Google and self-medicate. And with that self-medication comes a lot of issues. You find out that the chemists are now doctors. Most of them are not qualified. So people trust the chemist more than a regular doctor who went to school. So the chemist who is unqualified in one of these mom and pop places are now dispensing medication. Sometimes they don't know what they're doing. And you find out that people are now over-medicating.
Also because those places are cheaper, if
and
we're
cheaper.
being very honest.
Yes,
bad healthcare.
cheaper. Also because they're cheaper, People are self-medicating and going the different route. And so it's not a good thing because there's so many health repercussions for that. You become resistant to antibiotics. You're taking what you don't know. Sometimes majority of the drugs are fake. So it's just a vicious cycle. And the government needs to get involved. There should be some kind of social awareness going on a daily basis, And it really hurts when you're helpless. You can't do anything.
Can you share the immediate and long-term effects of this drug abuse?
Well, immediate is that there's a lot of mental health issues going on with a lot of young kids here and a lot of older people. That's the immediate. Your mental health is affected. When your mental health is affected, you can't function as a human being. You can't. So we have a lot of people in the society that are not able to function. The long term is that you're going to have a society that is just bad. Because, we don't think ahead. with all these kids who are on drugs, who then leads? Who are the future leaders? When they're getting in the drug pandemic, it's like a pandemic, it's increasing on a daily basis. So by the time we're all gone, the older ones, who then leads? Who are the future of Nigeria? Who? Drug heads? I mean, let's think about it. That's the long term. A lot of people with poor mental health, just absolutely no mental health. So what do we do?
And then
So, okay, what active steps can we take as individuals, and what active steps can government take to to avoid these effects?
So the very first thing government needs to do, and we as individuals ourselves, is awareness. Majority of us are all educated illiterates. What I mean by that is we think we know, but we don't know. If people are aware of the long-term issues of drug use, drug abuse, majority of them will think twice about it. But people don't know. They think, oh, weed is just the way to get high. And then you take it, you get dependent on it. You don't know it's going to hurt your brain, your liver, your kidney, in the long run. But we need to start with awareness, serious awareness. The NDLEA needs help. The government needs to be more involved with NDLEA. Seriously, they need to be more involved. They need to equip them, they need to do more. The awareness needs to be done. And we as individuals, as parents, pay attention to your kids, know what they're doing, ask questions, get involved. Don't be a stranger to your kids. Stop the African parenting. Just lay it down and be a human being first to your children. So you know what they're doing. Majority of them are going through suicide, depression, all kinds of stuff, But awareness, we as individuals need to create awareness. Be aware, be mindful, so that you can actually pay attention to other people, but be aware. Awareness is the key. That's the baby step. It's no use having a whole bunch of drug rehabs when people are not aware. Awareness is the key. That's the first step. Be aware. Understand the repercussions of drug use. We'll find, because rehab, rehab is for life. Don't even get addicted, because it's for life. So prevention is better than curing it. And that prevention is the social awareness. Getting involved, also being mindful. Knowing that if your friend is smoking weed, be like, man, no, don't do this. I'm not interested. I don't want to do this. Just be aware yourself that this is not something you want to develop as a habit. And then teach your children, teach people around you. And that's really what we need to do. That awareness, creating awareness, like you're doing now.
Thank you so much. I think that's a great place to leave it, and it's enough for people to understand and make the right decisions and take the right steps. But everyone needs to be involved to ensure that we have a better society. And there's also, like she said, the long-term implication, like organ damage. And so in the next couple of years, you'll have a lot of people with issues with their organs, and prevention is better than cure. Thank you so much for contributing and your wise words on this topic.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We'll take a quick break. When we return, more on The Weekend Show.